Yes, sir. So, over the weekend we had the annual pro-life rally here in DC. Every year, thousands of people come to DC to show their support for pro-life legislation, and this year was no different. People were worried now that Roe versus Wade has been overturned. Will the march continue? And the people have spoken. The march is on. People are now focusing on going state to state to convince legislators from each state to continue to support pro-life legislation. Now this year, a white supremacist group known as Patriot showed up to the pro-life rally. They were passing out flyers, standing in formation, and waving their flags. I'm going to show a quick clip of the video, come back with some thoughts, and as always, be sure to stick around to the end of the video for some bonus footage I think you might find interesting. Without any further ado, roll it.
All human life is created equal and is worthy of protection.
We're so encouraged to see all of you. Everybody from across the land. The beauty of this event is that it's a beautiful picture of America. We have people from all walks of life, all ages, all experiences, all backgrounds. And we're all joining to celebrate life and what it means to be an American. Thank you for being a part of that.
To the inherent dignity of the human person and the sanctity of life. First, Senator James Langford from Oklahoma.
Around this stage, and the that couldn't be here. Thank you, Jeannie Mancini, for your leadership. It is extraordinary. You know, ladies and gentlemen, at a New Jersey Pregnancy Resource Center, two women expressed through tears of joy their mothers.
So we're
and their
here today
children.
because
As Jeannie mentioned earlier,
there are a lot of
Americans
people here
agree.
who like us. There are a lot of people here who their first impression is right. That we're a bunch of good people here to hand out flyers, wave flags, and we want a more ideal America which has the domestic tranquility which the founders so hoped for and fought so long to establish and sustain for many generations. We are here because we are pro-family, we are pro-life, we are pro-nation, we're pro-America.
Now, if you listen to the man speak, it looks as if he's the leader of the Patriot Front group here. Looks like there's a platoon there, maybe 40 guys that he's leading. They're standing in formation. And he's saying, hey, I'm pro-family, we're pro-life, we're pro-America, we want domestic tranquility here in America. These are things that on the surface sound like, who would disagree with that? Who's not pro-family? Who doesn't want domestic tranquility, peace here in America? But if you let them keep speaking, this is what you'll hear.
We believe in advocating uniquely here for the interests of the American people who are the American people, the American ethnicity which is descendant from the European race who conquered and settled this land, and we're here because that culture is a continuation of our families. If we do not have our families, if we do not have our communities, we will not have our culture, we will not have our way of life, and we will no longer have our form of government. Our decline in the form of government has been exactly correlated with the decline of the interest of the American people in government itself.
Now, based on his own words, it's clear to see that he believes that the descendants of the European slave owners and slave masters are the true Americans. As a foundational Black American, I am directly opposed to this philosophy and this way of thinking. I believe that foundational Black Americans have just as much, if not more, claim and say to the Americas, specifically the United States of America, than does any other group, based on the fact that we are the sole group who has fought to defend the United States in every single war. Our home country, being that we are foundational Black Americans, we have never fought a war against the United States. That's something that the Mexicans can't say. People from Great Britain can't say. People from France can't say. So we never went to war against the United States. Not only that, we fought to defend the United States. Not only that, we have invested uncompensated blood, sweat, tears, and labor into this soil as no other group has. Therefore, I would disagree with him on the designation of Europeans being the rightful Americans. Now, digressing from the things that he and I probably disagree on, I want to focus on some things that we might have in common and some lessons that foundational Black Americans can learn by looking at groups like this. Number one, the reason he's at a pro-life rally is because his or the European birth rates in America are quickly waning. They're decreasing, they're dropping. And in the not too distant future, Europeans or white Americans will become a minority group here in the United States. Now, as foundational Black Americans, we shouldn't be focused on their decreasing populations, but instead we should focus on our decreasing populations. Have we not noticed that foundational Black Americans, who used to be the largest minority group in America, has already been surpassed by the Hispanics due to their influx coming through the border? When white Americans become a minority group, that will not increase our numbers, not to mention the fact that due to our abortion rates, we are limiting our own numbers here in America. Just take a look. In many states, as a matter of fact, abortion is the #1 cause of Black fatalities, Black death. So while I do give space for some extreme situations, for example, if the health of the mother is put at risk or if the pregnancy is the result of forced penetration, I can understand having a procedure under those circumstances. But outside of that, in the vast majority of cases, I think that when two adults consent to a consensual act, they are also consenting to the results or the fruit of that act. As such, I think that I am pro-family, I am pro-life, and that should, for the most part, be the law of the land. Now, another thing we can learn from this protest is if we take a look at how this group is formed. Look at how they're dressed uniformly, they're standing in formation, showing discipline. All of the people here are physically fit. We don't see any obese people in this formation. And this is just one group, Patriot Front. But think about these other white supremacist groups, such as the Boogaloo Boys, the Proud Boys. There's so many, the Patriot Fronts. There's so many different groups, and they all have some air of militancy, preparedness. Foundational Black Americans, we don't have a lot of groups like this. We have the Nation of Islam. That's a strong Black militant group. At least the fruit of the Nation of Islam is. And outside of that, we do have, the New Black Panther Party, not a strong membership there. We have the Hebrew Israelites. Shout out, salute to my guys, the Hebrew Israelites. But for the most part, we have a lot of scattered, real lone wolves. We need more unity. We need more people who can demonstrate disciplined militant lifestyles in support of our own group. Now, if you think it's easy to form a group like that, call up 20 of your guys. Tell them you want them to show up with no weed, no alcohol, no girls. Show up to one location and stay there for about an hour in the snow without getting paid. That's when you'll see how committed your boys are to whatever program you got going. I guarantee you, if you call 20 of them, 19 of them won't show up, and you'll be there standing alone. The unity, the commitment to the betterment of the group is something that we have to admire, whether it be from these suspected white supremacists or whether it be from some of our own. There's power in unity, and you got to salute the effort and the commitment that it takes to form a group that's committed to the cause. But hey, that's just what I think. If you disagree, leave it in the comment section. Tell me where I got it wrong. If you agree, and if you've made it this far in the video, which is largely a monologue, be sure to hit the thumbs up button. Support the channel by smashing the subscribe button if this is your first time here. I appreciate everyone who's made it this far in the video. Salute to you all. Stay tuned for this bonus footage, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Now, it is your body. You can do with it as you please. But it would be so tragic if the next Sitting Bull was aborted. It would be tragic if the next Malcolm X or Martin Luther King or the next Moses or Abraham or Jesus was flushed away. You don't know who your child is going to be. If you are wise, your child could be the answer to your prayers.
Turn myself to a cash cow. Mama told me she loved me. I look just like my dad now. Might take a trip out to Japan now. 200 in front of the dash now. Design all the way from the chest down. Do it on my own, any handouts. Niggas faking this man down. Hey. Grinding, tryna find me a way out. Hey. Nigga faking this man down. Hey. Grinding, tryna find me a way out.